Win some Proline Tyres, win some Proline Tyres, or you can win, get this puppy out of here, a winch. And it even comes with its little worn sticker. How cool is that, eh? So guys, that's going to be this year's competition. Some guys need tyres, some guys need a winch. Write me in the comment which of the two you need, and I shall put you in the draw. Now let's get back into today's video. Hey guys, on this week's show, we're going to be removing the dashboard of the Discovery. Why, you ask? Because it's becoming a rock crawler. And to make this truck more rock crawlery, we have literally stripped everything except for the dash. So headline is out, doors are off, the dash needs to come out. So let's get some tools. Okay, so what we're going to be doing, we're going to be starting on the passenger side. In this case it's the left side because this is a right-hand drive truck. So on this side, first thing is we need to get rid of this cubby hole. And underneath we have these bolts that need to be removed. There should actually be 4, so 1 is missing. And these are 8 sockets. Sorry, these are a 7 socket. Yeah, that's kind of how it comes off. So it has these 2 spring systems that kind of pass these 2 slots. So theoretically those should come out, and also those should go back in once you reinstall it. I went straight up my nose. Ah. And we have a similar flap on the driver's side. Same thing, 4 bolts in the bottom, remove them and the flap comes off. This way, once the dash is actually out, you can handle the dash more easily. Same thing here, 4 bolts. Get your 7 ratchet head and just unbolt it. And this just slides out. Nothing really holding this in place. And away it goes. All right, next step. We actually need to get the center section out. Let me place my camera here somewhere. So this is the so-called drink or cup holder, which doesn't work anymore. And we have 4 screws, 2 on this side and 2 on that side, holding it in place. It's all damaged and broken, so this should just slide out. There we go. Obviously someone's been fiddling on this car before me. That's why it probably went to the scrapyard. Anyway, now there's still something in here, hang on. These screws should not be in here that way around. They should be here the other way. So first, the cup holder should actually go in like that, and then those screws should be in here. On this side it was fine, on that side they actually put the screws in before, so somebody obviously has been fiddling with this. Okay, so that comes out. So I've taken the climate control unit out beforehand and loosened all of these tags and obviously all of the plugs beforehand. All right, so now let's get to the rest of the dashboard. And next step to remove would be the cluster. There are 2 screws hidden behind here. I don't know if they are actually in place. Let's get them loose as possible. There, you see, this is already done. And then you take this out. And to remove all of these little clips, you actually just push in the center over here. Has a little release. You push that in and you pull them all out. If, like me, you're never going to use this thing again, you can just toss it onto the pile of heap, or maybe sell it on eBay. Okay, next step is take this cluster out. Now the cluster has got 4 little screws. These 4 little screws are on the sides here. There's one and there's one. To release or remove these 4 screws, and once you got that done, you slide it upwards and place it forwards, and then it has these clips that you need to pull back to get these plugs out. So these clips, you just push them together and then slowly just wiggle it left, right, get it out. Then it has a black like minus or earthage in the middle, another black plug on this side, a blue one with a tag to push down, and then the last one would be the white one to take off. Now, seeing that we're making a rock crawler, I'm going to not toss this one onto the heap because I might need it. Actually, I will need that 100% because I actually want to see what's going on in the car. Now, coming to this little bracket where the cluster was actually screwed onto, there are 4 little bolts, 2 on the left and 2 on the right. Nuts, sorry, not bolts, nuts that need to be loosened, and they are, I believe, 7. That would be no, that is an 8. Let me get the camera down there so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right, the way it looks to me is that there are some missing. So if I point at this one, go, focusing on my hand. So that one there, and the other one was over there, which is missing. So there's 2 on this side, and the same thing in there is another 2 on this side, and the front one, if you can see it there, is also missing. Wait, let me get that out. So one is missing, one is in. So same on this side. All right, let's get those 2 out. So those bolts I should actually be keeping, because this plate in the end I want back in the truck, so I can actually assemble my cluster. There you go. So that already loosened at the top. The whole dash moved forward as I did that. I just got to be careful I don't snap any of my wires. Now that is highly unusual that it did that, because down here there should be screws holding that in. And oh, okay, I see what happened. Okay, so down here, when we took that little flap off that sits in front of the dash here, this was holding the dash in place, and theoretically that frame is bolted in underneath here. Hang on, let me take my fingers away. So that those 2 need to come out. They actually hold the dash in place with this frame that runs. So hang on, let me do that again. So that holds this frame in place, and that comes down over on that side. Either you release those 2 screws or those 2 at the bottom. That's your choice. So let's get those out now. And those are a 10 size socket. Go a little bit more powerful. Now coming to the other side, we have the same situation where we have 2 bolts sitting in the bottom and 2 bolts sitting up here. Okay, there is only one. It's supposed to be 2 next to each other. So one should be there, the other one there. This truck is obviously missing quite a few screws. So now one of the important things that you need to do, you need to actually just go through and just find everywhere where there's a cable tie that's holding stuff in place on the actual frame. Just clip it, go through it systematically, make sure that there's no more cables connecting to the actual dash, and you begin on the driver's side and you work yourself unclipping every single cable tie that you find, and you work yourself down to the passenger side as well. So now the dash should be loose. Oh no, it's not loose, sorry. There are, just behind the passenger side, there are another 2 bolts sitting up here. No, that one, sorry. Let's move that away. That one up there and that one up there, coming from this frame that literally sits inside the dashboard and connects to the frame of the truck. Okay, now the dash should be loose. As loose as it can get. Okay, it's going. All right, let me think now. I think from this side it's actually quite a good place to take it out. Okay, so I've made sure that all the cables here are loose. That's very important, getting all the cables loose, making sure that there's nothing tucked in anymore, making sure that there's like a little switch over here that kind of switches the lights on and off. Make sure that one is unplugged, pull that out. Those are the only cables that are actually hooked up on this side. So on the driver's side, we just make sure that all the cables go back through the holes that they came from without breaking or tearing any of them. Let's push this through. So what I always do is I always push them through first, so then when I do pull on the dash, I don't have any surprises. Like this one here just wrapped itself around. That was not very nice. Okay. Okay, getting all the cables out of the way. There's another one over here. Lying that up there. And coming back to the passenger side, making sure everything is out of the way, and we can take the dash out. Yeah, it's not the lightest thing, but also not the heaviest thing. Okay. One very sticky dashboard. Now the other thing, also not to forget, behind the dashboard sits a air conditioning duct. In my case, I don't want the air conditioning duct, so that's coming out as well. This is the air conditioning duct. It's one unit. It's not really connected to anything as far as I'm understanding it now. And I can also just take this out. Oh, hang on. Something got hooked on there. This is disgusting. Look how gooey that is. Ugh, gross. That's kind of what it looks like. Now you can see that they've been playing around with this, because there's another unit that's supposed to be fastened to that, where the dash actually gets mounted as well. That's obviously missing. So this is also going to go to the trash heap. Okay, let's put this to the heap of trash as well, because I don't think I will be putting this into the Jeep in the end. I don't even think this fits. Let's test it quickly. So this is obviously a right-hand drive dash on a left-hand drive car. That doesn't quite make sense, but it would kind of fit from the length. We just have to cut it off straight. We'd probably have to trim this if we were to put it in. We'd probably have to trim this off, and then it could fit. So from the distance, so this is the end of the Jeep right here. I've kind of lined it up. It is overhanging a little bit, but I think that, oh yeah, you see that we can manipulate. So the width of the dash is actually the same as the frame of the Jeep. I just don't know if I'm going to put it in there, but good to know that it might fit. That was not the most difficult dash to take out, but in the sun and with the humidity we got right now, I am battling a little bit. So guys, easy de-installation of a Discovery dashboard, Discovery 1, and it fits into the Jeep. So that's it from me for this week. Take care, guys. If you want to keep your bolts and nuts and screws, keep them. I don't need them anymore. That's why I just tossed them. Anyway, buy a little magnet tray, put all your bolts in, then label your bolts so that you know where they go and how to reinstall whatever you're doing. Don't do what I did. Okay, that's it from me for this week from Turtle Works. See you next time. Bye. Swear to God. Oh. They're like these little tiny little, I don't even know if they're fleas or flies, but they bite like heck. Those bloody flies. Come live on a farm, they said. It's a real man's life, they said.